Hello and welcome back to my channel. We plan on working more on the Hogwarts train today. This is the big one. Um, the Hogwarts Express, the big train. We got up to finished bag 4 last time, so we're starting, if I can get the pages to cooperate, on bag 5 today. But I figured I would sort a little bit of Legos that seem to be ever piling up while we wait for some more people to join us. Oh, that piece is stuck inside another piece. How has everybody's week been? I know it's only Thursday and I streamed on Tuesday, but let me know. Anything fun happen? Ooh, all that fuss to get it out and then it just fell out. Those are like windshields. Nope, these have stickers on them. There are just so many pieces. I don't even know where to put like half of them, to be honest. More than half of them. This was the idea to sort, but the more I look at it, the more I don't want to do it, but then the more I know it needs to be done. It's like a crazy back and forth. Anybody else like that who has stuff to sort, you're just like, oh, I don't want to do it. I'm trying to get out the ones that I know are pretty common. You know, like pretty common extra pieces and sets. Okay, well, let's just try to sort some and see where we get. That's a flat. That's not a flat. I know I should have one for dots, because there's a ton of them. Oh, duh, right in front of me. And this is that one. Okay, there we go. I just updated that I am sorting a little bit. I figured just for like the first 10 or 15 minutes, nothing like crazy long, just a little bit. I figure if I do a little bit each time, that will help. I believe I got a feather ball today, so pokey, catch, feather ball. Okay. And I know I'm starting earlier than normal, but I keep fluctuating. Should I start at like 11 or 11:30? So I figured I'd try 11 today and see where that gets me, and then maybe next Tuesday try 11:30. But then I feel like I have to literally wait and run if I do it at 11:30. So, and I hate that feeling. Like, you know. Welcome in, Kaz. How are you doing? I swear I have attempted to fix your name like 3 different ways to try to get it to do it, and for some reason my auto does not like want to accept your name. I'm sorry that you're tired, but I'm glad that you're good, and apparently it doesn't want to do that either. Okay. But yes, I figured I would sort just a little bit of Legos, like just a couple minutes worth at the beginning, or else I feel like I will never get it done because I keep putting it off. So no, it just bugs me because I will um like it should work. It works with everybody else, and now today even that doesn't want to work. Like the exclamation SO, which means it's got to be Streamlabs versus Stream Elements versus uh OBS. Ooh, I did too. I figure even if nobody buys off of it, it's out there. Um and I love making wish lists, and then I wind up buying stuff off of it myself. But I figure it's better to have it and nobody use it than for it to never be used. Yeah, but and what's crazy is I'll end the stream and I'll go back to like my page on Twitch and go to the chat thing, and I'll do it, and then all of a sudden it'll work. So I have no idea why it just decides to work and not work. And I always make sure I'm signed in and that it's connected and all that, and then so I've given up trying to guess. It either works or it doesn't. You just your throne wish list is for your page. You don't really share it in other people's pages or on other people's streams. It's for your viewers on your page. Did I put in all kind? Yeah. And I could have sworn I saw a bin for this kind, but maybe it's right in front of me, like the other bin. But yeah, I figured I would do just a little bit of the sorting because I feel like otherwise it'll never get done. So I don't intend to like take up the whole stream with this, just like maybe 15 to 20 minutes in the beginning. And if I do that a little bit each time, maybe I'll eventually wear down this pile of Legos that needs to be sorted. Maybe not, maybe I will, who knows. But it'll at least make me feel like I'm attempting to wear the pile down versus just staring at it going, ugh, and then running away. You're a dome one. Ah, there's the one I thought I had. I did have one for it. There's just not as much in it, and pushed in, I couldn't tell. Ooh, cool. I need to put in an order, but I don't know what I want to order, if that makes sense. So many options. So I need to like whittle it down. There we go. that command, when you do it that way, like says you have to wait so long in between. So I wanted to make sure I waited long enough that way I didn't have to type it in twice. But I also figure that this Hogwarts Express is going to take me quite some time to do, so I don't need to like rush ordering. Yes, I really like. I kind of put off getting it at first. I was like, I don't know, another train. Like, what's that? You know what I mean? And then I kept looking at it, and the more I looked at it, the more I was like, yes, but I don't have that kind of extra money laying around. And then on Black Friday, it went on sale on Amazon for 350 instead of the 500, and it also went on sale on Lego, but it was for 3 or 400 instead of 500. And that was, I mean, both that is great. Obviously, one better than the other. But I was like, ooh, but I have, um, like enough points to get $100 off, so that it would make it 300 instead of 500. But we still didn't have $300, so that still didn't really matter. But then we had got a paycheck that we were waiting for quite a while, and so it was no longer on sale on Lego, obviously, but it was still on sale for 350 on Amazon. So I got it, and I figured it's probably never going to be on sale like that again. Chances are, because that's a huge discount on a set like that, and they hardly ever do those. Like even, you know, on Lego itself, let alone like a third party site. So I grabbed it. It's gonna be pretty long though. It's like almost 47 inches long. So I'm like, ooh, I may have to go buy a shelf just to put it on. Yeah, but and today is my minions' first day back at school from winter break, so it's like a weird. And I don't know about anybody else, but I have trouble sleeping when I know like something important or big is going to happen the next day. So I didn't sleep very well last night, but I've drinking a lot of coffee this morning, so or not necessarily all coffee, but caffeine. Uh, my brain just would not like shut off. First, it was like, did we set our alarm or turn our alarm back on? I checked it like 3 times, and then it was like I just couldn't shut my brain off. So I gave up trying, and I just read a bunch. Okay, so I didn't get a lot sorted, but like I said, the whole goal was really just to, even if I do just a teeny bit each time, I'll at least feel like I'm trying to chip away at this pile. Slowly but surely. Come on. There we go. So this is what we got done on Tuesday. This part of like this front part of the locomotive, and then like the base and working across the top, and like back here like where they would normally put like coal or whatever they use to make it go. And we had a Harry mini fig, a Ron mini fig, and oh, that's right, I didn't put them over that time. And the train conductor minifig so far. There are 20 minifigures in this set because it depicts like 4 scenes of all the Harry Potters, or out of all the Harry Potters. And so, um, you know, different minifigures for each scene it's supposed to depict. Ooh, I think I got a snowball. I think that's what that little picture means. When I caught the last Pokemon. Oh, I got a snowman head. But let me see. Last time I thought I got something and then I added it to my snowman. It turned out I already had it and it still took it. So that was kind of sad because then I couldn't help somebody else's snowman. So let me see. Pokey snowman. Yep, I have a pokey head. I have a hat, a head, a cone, a body mid, and a bow tie. And that is a pokey head. So I won't add it to mine. I'll try to add it to somebody else's. If anybody else is trying to build their pokey snowman, let me know and I will attempt to help out. I always say attempt because there's never any promises. I have a tier 2 snowman. This bag didn't have a ton of pieces in it, so it may go pretty fast. Let me take my... And there were 4 books and like 23 stickers in this set. I keep leaving my mouse out and in the way. This way. This way. I was looking at the Target weekly ad, and it looked like they had some Lego sets. I don't want to say on sale. I don't know if they're just like featuring them in the ad or if they really are on sale this week. But they were like $20 sets, so if anybody wants to look into that. I figure it never hurts to look at the ones and see. Quick balls at the ready. A Sneasel. Yeah. I think I have a Sneasel, so I'm not gonna do like a special ball. I'm just gonna do Pokey Catch. Yeah, a Sneasel. Uh, it's like a cat type Pokemon, but it almost looks like it has some feathers too, like on the top of its head and around its tail. I don't pretend to understand like why they name these Pokemon the way they do, because some of the names are really crazy. But yeah, a Sneasel. Some of them I can't even pronounce. I'm like, I don't know how you say that, and I don't want to butcher it horribly.
This whole game is rigged. Carrot.
See, and now it worked for Carrot. I don't understand why it works sometimes and why it doesn't. Um, I got a pokey head or a snowman head. I can add it to the snowman on your page, Carrot, because there's already a snowman head on my end. It says mine's now a level 2 snowman. Too bad I just keep getting things that like the snowman already has, so are you feeling better today, Carrot? Ooh, dropping stuff. I'm sorry. I've been like sinusy congested. I can feel it like you know underneath my eyes. Like yep, super stuffed up. Not so much as long as I'm like sitting up, but at night when I'm trying to sleep, I can feel it like pull to whatever side I'm laying on, and then like you know fill up underneath my eyes, and then it makes it hard to sleep. Okay, we're gonna have ads in about a minute. Okay, I guess we'll set that aside too for a minute. But yeah, my nose keeps feeling like I need to blow it, but then nothing comes out, and it feels okay for a little bit after I blow it, but then inevitably we're right back where we started, where I feel like I need to blow it, but nothing comes out. Yeah, you're either good or you're dying. I feel that. There's no happy medium. And my eyes have been like burning a lot, which is another like allergy issue, but still, it's annoying. Well, thank you for popping by, even though you don't feel very well. I appreciate it. Okay, we're in ads now. Well, I appreciate you being here, even when you don't feel great. But I completely understand whether Palia needs to happen either way. I was I had you like on in the background. I wasn't really like obviously listening because there wasn't really anything to listen to. But I wasn't like active in the conversation because I had ignored like all my blog stuff emails for like the whole week between Christmas and New Year's. So I had to catch up on those. But I had you up so it counted as like alert. So I was there but not there. Okay, let's see. And this one goes this way. Well, you didn't even go through both pieces, silly. There we go. But yes, if you feel like you need to go lay down or any of that, I will not be offended. I'll be here till like 2ish. Make sure that, yeah. Okay. Now, it almost looks like a butterfly. That's not what it's supposed to be, but it kind of looks like a butterfly. Go. It's the crud from being around people at the holidays. We're back from ads. Or at least I think we are. Okay, so this is this other kind of like segment that we got done of this. And we're gonna, if the Technic pieces will clicky click. Okay. Says, oh, it's got a little information-y tidbit thing here. It says engineering illusion. Inspired by the GWR 4900 class 5972 Olton Hall steam engine used as the Hogwarts Express in the films, Lego model designer Marcos Bessa created a conical illusion of the smooth engine. The diameter of each module is gradually reduced, but in a small enough steps that the various combinations of brackets and special plates really bring out the subtleties of the Lego building system. I know, but it still sucks to be sick. It's just bleh. Okay, there we go. So it gets like progressively smaller and smaller, but only by just like a teeny bit. To the best of being able to do with Legos. Well, hopefully you feel better soon. Oh, there it is. Hiding. Okay. The set that I ordered from Fun Hole, I ordered it off Amazon, but that's the company. It came Tuesday evening. Spew Paw. Do I have one of those? I do have one. It's not horrible. So we'll just do Pokey Catch. But yes, it came Tuesday evening. Like I said, it's technically by the company Fun Hole, but I ordered her off Amazon, like off their page on Amazon. You can have a storefront. And it looks really nice. I'm excited to try lighting. Woohoo, I called it. lighting a brick set for the first time, and it came with the light set, so that's some of the reason I chose to try it. Okay. So I will build that after I'm done with this set, of course, because I've already started this. I want to say it was Fluffy Brick Studio that was talking about them too the other day in RC Space Sports stream. It seemed like he really liked it, and maybe I'm saying the wrong streamer too, which would be horrible. But it's hard to keep everybody together sometimes, or straight, like who said what. And this looks okay. So, no joke, this is the name of the company. Don't type it separately, just one word. They sell brick building sets with light sets like together. This is the website, the link. But their brick building sets come with light kits. I didn't purchase it from their website. I purchased it off their Amazon. You can have like a store on Amazon. I did it that way, and it seemed like they were on sale through the Amazon. It seemed like they were on sale on Amazon. Like they had like coupons or just so many dollars off most of the sets. So that's another reason I got it off Amazon versus their website. But it is them. It's like their Amazon storefront. Oh, duh. It helps if I then attach the item. Not just turn the page. But yes, I got the newsstand to try. It's a small set, and that way if I didn't like it, I didn't spend a ton of money. And like I said, off Amazon, it would also make it easier to return, if for some reason that needed to happen. But I'm excited to see how it goes. They looked not like I got the box, and obviously I opened the box to look at it. Ooh, I did not send that to you, but that's a good one. I did not send that to you. I was gonna send you beans through your throne, and then they wanted like more than the beans cost in shipping and stuff. Yeah, that's definitely not me. I would have ordered you a large at most. Well, you'll be really snuggly and cuddly in it. You can put Kitty inside of it. Oh, kitty time. Did Kitty try to lay on your face and smother you while you slept? Oh, Okay, never mind. Then you cannot put Kitty in there. There was a video. This guy kept like waking up in the middle of the night, like feeling like he couldn't breathe and stuff, and having trouble sleeping. Like breathing while he was sleeping. And he's like, I don't snore, so I don't think I have sleep apnea. So he put like a little camera, um, you know, facing his bed to see what was going on. Turns out the cat would lay on his face while he slept. It would like slowly open the door so it didn't make any noise. And then the cat would proceed to lay on his face and be like, this is for not getting me premium cat food. So the dog that we got, I mean, he passed last New Year's. Obviously not just a couple weeks ago, but like last year this time. He would play peekaboo like a small child. You could throw like a little blanket over his head and he'd be like, "Where's Bear Bear? Where's Bear Bear?" And if you threw it over his head but then said nothing, he would just like slowly sit there and move his head a little bit to the side, like waiting for you to say it. And as soon as you go, "Where's Bear Bear? Where's Bear Bear?" then he'd be like, "Ah!" and shake it off. But he would not play the game until you specifically asked where he was. Ah, no. Okay. Yep. He played peekaboo. It was really the only kind of playing he would do. Like he knew sit, lay down, stay, but like he wouldn't run after a ball. He wouldn't play like tug of war with those little tug of war ropes. He wouldn't do any of that. But he would play Where's Bear Bear? He'd play peekaboo. Yeah, so Fantasy was born on a Thursday and we got him the Saturday before she was born at like a pet adoption thing. Where we live. Well, actually, I mean, it was basically where we're living now because that's where we lived at that time too. Because we didn't move till she was um almost 3. So, but yeah, and he was 14 years old, and he was a lab red healer mix, so that's old. Technically, he lived longer than each breed individually, like their general life expectancy. Um, so he lived a long time. There they are. Yeah, so we named him Bear because when we got him, he was 8 weeks old, like just first could be adopted, and like his paw, like his whole body could fit in Crazy's cupped hands, but his paws were ginormous for the size of puppy he was. And like he couldn't walk right because his paws were so big. Like he had to like really try to pick them up and stuff. So that's why we named him Bear, and then we just always called him Bear Bear. But yeah, the kid, it was funny. The kids, we had other dogs and other pets like in between, but Bear Bear's the one that stuck with us. Okay, legs, head, hair. No, not legs, head, hair. Body, head, hair. Uh, Here's legs, but we need a skirt. There's the skirt. Yeah, we had a Snorky, and we wound up having to rehome him because no matter what we did, we couldn't get him to not jump at Fantasy, and at the time, she was really small. Like, we tried all the things you could imagine, all the things all the pet people said, like the kennel, like a timeout, and like a child, you would tap his butt, all kinds of things. Um, Rewards for when he didn't jump, just everything we could imagine, and it didn't stop. And finally, one day, he knocked her down, and he did it. I don't want to say with so much force, but she lost her balance in such a way that her head basically bounced off the floor. And I was like, okay, I don't want to, but we also can't get him to stop. So we're going to have to rehome him. And it actually like worked out for the better because the people who took him in were like the mom of another military family. She had two tiny dogs and one of them passed, and the other was going downhill pretty fast because he didn't have his friend anymore. And so like almost like dying of a broken heart for dogs. And when they took our dog in, he rebounded and it was like the best thing ever. So I mean it worked out, but I didn't really want to rehome him, but I also can't, you know what I mean? Okay, can't have her getting hurt because of it either. And then we had Alex. He was a retired military working dog. And when we left Nebraska to go to Virginia, we had gone to the vet to make sure, like it would be okay for him to travel that far because he was pretty old and had hip issues and things like that. Like, is there anything we can do to help him? And the vet's like, it would really be better if you didn't force him to sit in the car for that long, like no, there's not really anything you can do to make him comfortable. It could be like detrimental to his health. So another military family took him in. Yeah, I mean he wasn't like he didn't really he was like a medium-sized dog because he's a black lab red heeler mix. So I mean he weighed like 55 pounds. He was not like a super huge dog by any means. But as a puppy, his paws looked so huge compared to the rest of his body. It just reminded us of a bear cub. So that's how he got his name. And then our Snorky was called Scrappy from, Scrappy Doo, because he was just like Scrappy Doo all over the damn place. And the retired military working dog we had, he already had a name. His name was Alex. And then we had Kitty, who was just named Kitty because a friend of ours, her mother-in-law called her up and said, hey, this cat wandered into our garage. I know that you've been wanting cats. Do you want this? And she's like, we actually just got cats. And she's like, okay, so you don't want another one? And she's like, no, I think your son would murder me if I got another cat right now. And they knew that Fantasy had been wanting a cat. So she came and asked us, and we said sure. So she went and got the cat and brought it to us because her mother-in-law really didn't live that far from us at the time. And we didn't know if it was a boy or a girl. And I was like, we can't name it something like really one way or the other. And then it turned out to be the opposite. So we just started calling it Kitty. And then even when we found out it was he was already responding to the kitty. So his name was literally just Kitty. But when we moved from Virginia to North Dakota, I didn't realize it could happen, but he broke his tail. They said it happens a lot more than anybody realizes, but like he was probably jumping like from box to box or trying to weave between boxes and either fell or like got stuck between two boxes and he broke his tail. But he broke it really close to his body, So then he couldn't poop anymore. Like he would have to go, but he couldn't, like, those nerves didn't work anymore. And we tried all kinds of stuff. We had his tail amputated, thinking, that would help because the vet said it might. And it didn't. And we tried all kinds of meds to kind of help, but none of that worked. So we had to put him down. Welcome in, Crazy. Are you having fun sitting at the place? Oh, I guess I didn't put those two pieces on. I think Crazy plans on streaming tomorrow, and if I remember correctly, he's going to start the Concorde, the Airbus. If I remember correctly. He took his car for an oil change this morning, and then came back and got mine and took it back for an oil change. This way I could still stream. He's such a good hubby. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. Concorde, the plane, the Airbus plane. I don't think I talk clearly enough for my closed captionings. I think it only half understands what I'm saying. And I don't even have an accent. Ooh, I told Steele that I would do my little kid voice for her if she came on. Because she was saying that when people call, they're like, is your mommy or daddy home? I used to freak my friend out with my little kid voice. Okay, one of these, and both of these like this. Ooh, this one has like a little band around it so it will stop. You don't have to guess how far to push it in. I know she's studying for her test exam-y thing coming up, though. I gotta combine those. You trying to catch a weird Pokemon? So I sorted Legos for like the first 15-20 minutes of the stream, and I figure if I do that a little bit each time, maybe eventually I will whittle down this giant pile of Legos that needs to be sorted. And I even moved my little sorter thing in here in the hopes that I would just put things away if possible at the end of a bag versus, throwing them in a little bucket. We'll see how well that goes. Hey, Steel. How's your studying going? If you're just lurking, I completely understand.
Easy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you think you're like psyching yourself out, like worrying, and then it's making you do worse instead of better? Or are you just having a hard time focusing? Yeah, I understand that. Not completely, because I was one of those people that didn't have to study and it just happened. As long as I paid attention in class and did my homework, I didn't really have to study, which is unfair, I know. But I can understand it from like an outside point of view that not everybody has that. It's the self study. Yeah. There's no, yeah, there, it's like comprehending it on your own. That's where because you're not sure if you're understanding it correctly. So then it like is this whole compounding thing where you're like, I think I'm right, but am I understanding it the way they really need it to? So I got to the deer serpent and the guy was chit chatting with my friend. Turns out he's in the first. Yeah, you have a new friend. Yeah, fantasy had a horrible time. I didn't know if there was enough people who wanted to play it, but I'll start it. I oop, let me go into the right thing here. So I switched to the new whatever event that's going. So we're basically starting over, but not so bad because then it's easy. Hello, Rabbit of the Moon. Rabbit of Moon. Okay. Oh, I didn't look at my quest to see what it wanted. So. But yes, there's a new event starting. Let me write Rabbit of Moon down to add to my shouty outs. Rabbit. Um, what was I saying? Oh, fantasy did not do very well at all during quarantine because she's the same way. She needs there to be somebody teaching her, and even like just watching it. Right. So it's hard for you to understand if you're comprehending it correctly or if you're misinterpreting something somewhere. That's how fantasy was. It was horrible. Like, even though there was a virtual teacher and they were kind of going over stuff, it wasn't the same. She had a terrible time. She never like understood if she was doing things correctly, and it was just bad all around. Because even though she could ask questions, it's not the same as the teacher being right there and you showing them your worksheet and going, "Is this right?" Um, you know what I mean? So it was. She just had a hard time. Whereas Boy Wonder is the opposite. Uh, he would have a video game. Well, we're talking about like during COVID. Uh, my daughter had a really hard time because she needs there to be somebody to physically talk to and be like, is this correct? And even though she could talk to her teachers in theory, it's not the same as them being in the room and being able to look at her paper and tell her what is right or wrong or what she's not comprehending. Yeah, Boy Wonder was the opposite. His teacher would be talking and he'd have a whole nother window open playing a video game. And his teacher was honest. He goes, normally I can tell when they're doing that. He goes, because you'll ask a question and they have no concept of what is going on. So you're like, that's it. I'm gonna have to talk to your parents about it. He goes, I would call on him and he would answer my question, look me straight in the eye, answer my question, and I'd be like, were you playing a video game? He'd be like, if I was playing a video game, how could I answer your question? I can't pay attention to both. And like his teacher's like, I'm pretty sure he's not paying attention to me like 95% of the time, but I also can't do anything about it if he's getting all the answers right. Like, I can't get after him. I know. See, like, he is. I swear sometimes he's on the spectrum somewhere because some of the things he says are like crazy. Like, and he's very literal. It can be interesting sometimes. Ugh, okay. Pokey catch. Ultra ball. Yeah, sometimes talking to him is like an exercise in patience. Because you'll say something and he goes, no, it's this. And I'm like, tell him it's close. Or, Boy Wonder, it's close enough. And he's like, nope, you're wrong. Like, no, it's not close enough. It's either this or it's nothing. Like, it's crazy. Look at our choo choos. Well, they didn't discover she needed an IEP till we moved from Virginia to North Dakota, where they had, like, I kid you not, there were only 35 kids in her entire grade. Like, in all of seventh grade and in all of eighth grade, there were only like 35 kids in the entire school in that grade. So they noticed things that other people didn't notice, and she didn't get her IEP till after COVID. So, like, they just expected her to, they didn't think anything was wrong. They didn't notice anything or enough of something to, that she needed help. And she had been in a special education class before, but it was just for reading. And when she got back on task for reading, they said, no, she's fine. So now she has an IEP, but, it wasn't then. Okay, so I'm going to tell you something that I told Crazy the other day in the car. This guy, I watched this video from this guy, and he was very upfront. He's like, I just want to let you know that I am not in any way qualified to diagnose anyone as anything. All I can tell you is what I see that is common in people, right? So he said he recently read this book that was like something caveman. And the whole concept of the book was that we used to be hunter and gatherers, right? And as hunters and gatherers, we had to be a certain way, right? Like we had certain traits, we did certain things certain ways. And then came along, like, essentially the agriculture, where you became from nomad people who moved around with the where the hunt was, to stationary to farm and develop like a civilization, you know what I mean, like in one place. And that those traits became unnecessary as more of the farming and agriculture took over. The hunter and gatherer was going by the wayside, kind of. But not everybody lost those hunter gatherer like traits. And that maybe the agricultural one place are really the people who are the few, and that the ADD, the ADHD, the all that kind of stuff, like you know, autism, because you can now be AD autism and basically all the things people are saying now, that those people aren't neurotypical, that there's something wrong with them, we need to fix them, we need to integrate, we need to this, that maybe they're really the mainstream majority correct, and that the people who are telling them they're wrong are really the people who are wrong. Like, because there's less of them. If you look around, how many people do you know that have ADHD or ADD or autism or many of the other things like that, compared to people who are neurotypical? Like, maybe the neurotypical are actually what's wrong and not the neurodivergent, if that makes sense. Yeah, like, really, the people who have all these weird things that don't fit in and can't sit still, maybe they're the large group, the correct group, and the people who can do it are really the outside outliers. Yeah, so basically swap them. That the neurodivergent are actually the neurotypical, and what people consider neurotypical are actually the neurodivergent. Because in actuality, there are probably far less people who don't have something like ADD or ADHD or autism or one of the many, many other things that are on the spectrum. You know what I mean? Like, right, like how, you know, and they're like, oh, it's because you only hang out with people who are similar to you, which is true. But in the grand scheme of things, how many, of those kids find ways to just get by? Because that's what was happening with fantasies. They said she just came up with coping mechanisms. Like, there was something, she was having problems the whole time, but she found ways to mask that she was having a problem. She found her own kind of shortcuts or things that worked. So it's like, the guy was saying, like, he's not trying to tell anybody anything, he's just giving you his opinion, that maybe it's the opposite. Like all these people were medicating so they fit in are really the norm. And all the people who aren't medicated to fit in are really the outliers. Right. Right. And that's what they're saying. Like, that's what that guy and this book were trying to say. That really, it's the opposite. Right. Because you didn't want to say anything was wrong with your kid before. Like, no, my kid's normal. It's horrible. And with girls, when they came up with all the testing for ADD and ADHD, they didn't, there were no girls in those studies, only boys. And girls have completely different markers, traits, whatever you want to call them, than boys. Where boys are crazy and jumping all over the place and they don't want to sit still and they don't want to listen, girls talk, 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 talk. It's the same not listening in your own world, but it's, yeah, there were no girls in any of those studies. Yeah, it's completely different in girls than it is in boys. It's completely different in adults than it is in kids. It's kind of all over the place. But they, you don't want to say anything, or it used to be you don't want anything to be wrong with your child. But really, in the grand scheme of things, with there being so many kids in general or people in general that are having these issues, are they really the ones with the issue, or are they completely normal and the other people are the people? Not that those other people need to be medicated to fit in, but just maybe that they're not the ones that are weird or different who need to fit in. Maybe the people who are considered neurotypical are actually the outliers, the minority. All because we used to be hunter gatherers and we still carry those traits today. Right. Like they didn't test girls too. A lot of it was solely boys. Right. Like everybody is on the spectrum somewhere, I believe. It's just whether you are barely a whisper on it or you are like so deep you can't, find the top of the water. And I do believe that we're all on the spectrum somewhere. It's just where. And some of it is, some of the ADD and ADHD is parents using it as an excuse to not have to get their child to listen. Because I have met many a small child that didn't like to listen, and their parents are like, they're ADD, they're ADHD, and even go as far to get them diagnosed because, yes, in a way, they do meet the criteria. But it is simply also a way of excusing their behavior and not having to try to get them to listen. Because just because they have ADD or ADD doesn't mean they don't have to listen. They still have to have reward and consequence. They still can't run amok in the restaurant. Yes, because you couldn't have it contaminating. Nobody would want to marry your daughter if there was something wrong with her. We can't possibly have a little girl around who has something wrong with her. Yeah. And like I said, I think a lot of it is. I'm not saying kids don't have issues. I am totally not saying that. But I'm saying I think some parents use that then as an excuse so that everything is just swept underneath that header. Right. Yeah, like it just, well, he's autistic. Well, that doesn't mean he gets to run around and hit people or run like a crazy banshee through the restaurant or destroy people's things. He has a cognitive learning issue. But that does not mean he doesn't have to learn to behave. Do you have to maybe go about teaching him how to behave in different ways? Sure. But he still has to learn when is it okay to do things and when is it okay to not. What is never okay to do. But there are I have met plenty of people who have had their child diagnosed as something or other and then just used as an excuse for all their behavior. It all gets swept underneath that cute little title. But I mean, sure, they may honestly have that, but that doesn't absolve them of everything. Like, they still have to learn what is acceptable and what is not. And you're right. Like, I mean, no matter what what trait you have, what's neurotypical, non-neurotypical, if you really want to do something, you will find a way to be able to do it. So like, it's give and take. The trolley witch. Okay, I need to find my other bag so I can have my wheels. Mm, maybe. But yeah, there are definitely parents who will like then. Right, like you all need to learn how to behave and what is acceptable and what is not. Like in the long run, by not teaching them what is acceptable and what is not, you're not helping them. You're doing them a giant disservice because at some point that is no longer an acceptable excuse, like for why you can't behave, why you act a fool in public. Like people no longer care. It's not, like you grow out of that youthful excuse. We got train wheels. And one of them doesn't want to be picked up. I also heard that some resources that could have helped point people in the right direction towards getting the kids diagnosed are restricted so badly into how they. Yeah, like almost like you have to be so bad before you can even attempt to get any help. Is he gonna get murdered? Electric? Electric? I don't know how to say that. I'm probably murder in the name. Ah! Apparently I hit the caps lock. Pokey catch. That and there's that fine line between like genius and those kinds of cognitive neural brain kind of like kids with ADD and things like that. Like the slice between you are so brilliant and you can't function is like on top of each other. Like like Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory. Like he's a prime example. He is probably on the spectrum somewhere, but he is a genius at the same time. But take him out of that area where he is a genius and like he doesn't understand social cues and he doesn't understand when people want him to stop talking. He doesn't understand why it's not appropriate to say that at that time. Like it's all so closely connected. Yada tag placed an epic Scotty Archer. Skadai? I don't know how to pronounce that. Like when my daughter was in daycare, the daycare tried to suggest me to get her evaluated, but they couldn't even tell me the reasoning behind the suggestion, so I didn't follow through. If not for her or for the school system, I put my daughter being good and resourced enough to pick it up and take over in kindergarten. She could have been, and see, that's I think kind of what happened with our daughter with fantasy. It can. The genius idiot thing, yeah, it totally can change day to day. Uh, but they say that a lot. Like the kids who have Asperger's and stuff, like they are so smart in that one area. It is like astronomical. Like they are literally a genius in that one area, but everywhere else, it's like a mess. And it's okay, but it's just like it's crazy how close those things are. Right. How those things like interact with each other is crazy sometimes. But yeah, I think that's what happened to our daughter. So they recognized enough that she wasn't reading well or like couldn't understand it at all basically to help her to get better at reading. But then when she was better at the reading, they just stuck her back in the regular class. Well, it wasn't even like that. I mean, I guess technically she was always in the regular class, you know, but she just went out for reading to a different room. Did I pick? Oh, I did pick up the wrong one because my brain is seeing green. Um, but yeah, but then they didn't give her any help after that. And when we got up there to North Dakota, the teacher, was like, something's not right. And they stuck her in a different area. And they realized that when it came to like sounding things out, she couldn't put the word back together. Like she had no like way to understand. Like her brain just completely lost it. Like once she broke it down, she couldn't put it back together. I won't actually know how many until the battle starts, but I think it's just that one little level 5 bat in it for 21 allies. Yeah, if I could start it. Oh, I can start early. Should we start it early? Because it's crazy. Here, we'll start early since there are so many. It says we're not eligible for salvage chests, but I don't think we'll need a salvage chest. So let me switch to Stream Raiders. Start battle early. Well, we're about to find out. Yep, it's just that bat. It's just one enemy. Well, that was quick. I'll grant at random. Crazy got the tank scrolls and Bakla. I listen, Balash. I don't know. That guy got the Saint scrolls. Ooh, look at me! I got all the things. Yeah, it was a bit overkill. We're in ads. Oops. Let's see if we got any quests. Win 3 battles, kill 3 melee units, getting 10, 75 assists. Okay. None of those. Sometimes it's like you have to put out, like it wants you to put out 3 tanks. But this time it didn't say anything like that. So let's go to scrolls and see what we can buy. Okay, you, because you're a level 1. And that'll beef you up. Five, five, two. Oh, you're a level 1 too. Well, that won't get you to the next one, but this one will. Okay. Let's go to the next one. So we can fight this guy or the mystery. Oh, there we go. The mystery, okay. Ooh, level challenge unknown. Start. Sometimes it takes a second. There we go. I'll put out my flag bearer guy. Okay. Yeah, that was horrible. I didn't realize that there were only one little guy there, or else I would have started it way sooner for you guys. My brain just went, okay, we started it. Now we let it go for 30 minutes and we don't really pay attention unless it gives us like the little, hey, somebody said something special. Had I realized there was one lonely bat or been paying attention, I would have started that much sooner. There's a bunch of enemies in this one. Well, that's good. Now here's hoping that a lot of people join this one and we don't get massacred instead. Okay, crazy. Steel. My brain will catch up eventually. Okay, fine. Go up there. This is 14. Oh, I forgot. So I think this is the trolley. Let me put this on and then I will try to attempt to show you this. Maybe it's not a trolley. So, trying to get it to focus. That was the sticker from last time. I don't know if it'll focus. And then this is this sticker. It doesn't help that the sun. There we go. Let's see if I can get the other one to focus. There we go. Yeah, ugh. I was like, please tell me I didn't just put that sticker on there wrong. But I did not. But yes, anyway, welcome to my TED Talk today. I got beans, carrot. I got birdie beans. It's a pre-printed block with the every flavor beans on it. Oh, it is the trolley. Because here's my little trolley witch. My little trolley and trolley witch. Ooh, we got a flip Sarchuti Chew. Yeah. That was my interesting concept video for the week. I just found it like very relatable. Okay, I think maybe I think maybe I took out the wrong wheels. Nope, these are other wheels. Okay. I was like, because these wheels are giant compared to what I took out of the other bag. Okay. So like, let me, in theory, if I get them both one on and then turn, they should both go on correctly, you know, or the same, not correctly necessary, but oh, did you? Oh, hi, Nikki. I missed that Nikki came in. Sorry. Let me scroll up a bit. Talking about killing. Welcome, Nikki. Shout out for Nikki. Kaz took third. Overkill, mystery. I started. A bunch of enemies. Gonna lurk. People suck. Pokemon. I'll get through there. Yes, you. What? Somebody raided me? No. Oh, yeah. For the stream raiders. Yes. We are. Yeah, the game. Sorry, my brain, as you can tell, is all over the place at the moment. I was like, man, I missed a bunch of stuff. Let me go back and scroll. Okay, I put on my Chudy Chew wheels. They're even. I'm gonna flip it back over for now. Look, we have movement. Okay. I think I'm caught back up, but yes, my hubby plays Stream Raiders, and well, he's streamed for quite a while compared to me. But most people have streamed for quite a while compared to me. But he played Stream Raiders in his thingy, and then I was on Grand Admiral Crack, and he was playing, and I was like, well, I like this. I'm gonna add it to mine too. So, listen, I miss most things. This is why I read. I don't have to interact with people and try to catch everything. Yeah. So, yes, I am oh, after I finish this bag, Nikki, I ordered a set from that other web thing, the other brick building company, Funhole. Uh, so I ordered that, and I ordered it off Amazon though, but like their Amazon storefront, and it came pretty quick because I ordered it through Amazon. You know, Cubone. I don't know if I have a Cubone. We'll do Great Ball. Right? I like it. It's fun. Fun hole. I know, but it's whole as in the whole thing, not as in a hole. But anyway, it came pretty quickly and it looks really nice. So yeah, whole, yeah, the whole thing, not what Carrot's trying to make it seem. Dirty boy. So after I finish this bag, because this is the last bag in this front car, I can. It's just over here on the side. I can get it out and we can look at it if you want. Carrot calls it the Horror Company. Ooh, only Nikki caught it. Yeah, he calls it Fun Horror. Okay, so they literally have a diagram
This whole game is rigged.
on this step to show you where the little stopper should go. So I like that. That seems about right. But yes, it's just sitting over here. I opened the box to kind of look at it. I didn't like open any of the bags or anything, but we can definitely take a peek at it. One, two, three, four. And like I said, this one was originally priced. Carrot's a mess, but I can make just about anything dirty. Like in a conversation with me, it is horrible. Um, so the last military ball we went to, we wound up at a table with some of our friends, but one of my husband's young airmen was there with his boyfriend. And his boyfriend was like, "Oh my God, you're so sweet." And he would call me like I'm a dream or something like that. And then it became, "Can you pass those butterballs? Man, these balls are hard. Do you want a butterball?" And 15 minutes in, I was no longer a dream. Crazy tried to tell him not to encourage me, but it just got worse. It was I'm a joy. That was right. He said I was such a joy, and I was like, "You're gonna regret that in like 15 minutes." And he's like, "No, you're so sweet and cute." And I was like, "Oh, now the challenge has been accepted." I proceeded to have my hair pulled by some higher ranking guy. Then I stole his cake. And when he wanted it back, I licked it, and his wife just laughed at both of us and went on her way. Then I stole somebody else's wine, and I was talking about the hard chairs and how my ass hurt, and that these butterballs were hard, and they certainly weren't spreadable. And 20 minutes in, I was no longer a joy to be around. He was like, "Okay, you can stop now." I was like, "Nope, challenge has been accepted. It must go on all night." I was like, "Unlike you boys, I can really go all night." I like, yeah, I was like, "You're really gonna regret saying that." And he's like, "No, no, I won't." I was like, "Yes, yes, you will." Yeah, I'm hyper and my mind is all over the place, and it is always in the gutter. I can make anything sound inappropriate, most of the time with a straight face. I had a friend, so I was really friends with his wife from playgroup because she brought her daughter to playgroup, and he, a loadmaster, and he used to take me to his work parties because he said I should have married one of them instead because I would have fit in like perfect. So she used to stay at home and he'd take me to his work parties sometimes because she's like, "I cannot deal with those men and the things they say." And I was like, "I'll go." So I was his work party wife. Yeah, he was a load master. Yeah. Yep. So I was his work party wife when she didn't want to go and deal with all of them. In the military, you can. What it means is you work on aircraft. He said he still feels like death, Steel. I asked him the same thing when he came in. I didn't turn anything dirty. I tell people that I like to be as surprised about what comes out of my mouth as they are. I said I was going to make it 18 plus. Listen, wholesome is overrated. Right? Yours isn't wholesome either. You just have Nexie in there yelling at all of us. Like her being upset is going to dissuade me. If anything, the childish side of me makes me want to do it more, not less. Every time she goes cursing, I want to like put 7 expletives in the chat box. Ooh, look, chugga chugga. We got movement. I tell you, every time she's like language or knock it off or oh my god, it just makes me want to do it even more, not less. I'm like, really? You think that's bad? Let me do this. I have peppermint bark. Yeah, everybody was nice when Nexie was there, but then they forgot my daughter was in there, and she's just laughing her butt off. Then Carrot, she put something inappropriate in chat, and Carrot was like, "Oh my god, why are you still here?" I did not. I didn't see that stream. Yeah, I was like, that's my little girl. Be inappropriate. Threaten to stab teenage boys at school. It's okay. So for the longest time, I was like, she's not gonna have my personality at all. Like she was so much like crazy. It was crazy, like personality wise. And now not so much. She was at archery practice, and this kid was teasing her for being short. And she was like, "Oh my god, look at this pointy thing in my hand. It would be a shame if it wound up in you." Sexy McNibbles. I totally forgot Nexie was underage last night, and she got a random gifted sub to my channel. But she... yeah, she was like, "Oh, it'd be such a shame if this arrow were to wind up in you because you couldn't keep your mouth shut." And I was like, "Oh, she is like me." Okay. This. I didn't realize that the random gifted subs didn't take into account like the person's age. Okay. One. I figured if it was an 18 plus channel that it would know her age and then not allow her to receive it, but I guess not. I also didn't really think about it at all. So rotate my chooty choo. I guess true. Mm, that makes sense. Like I said, I didn't totally like think about it really that much at all to begin with. Come on. Rotate. Must find all the holes. Oop, crazy. Place an epic holiday tank. Get in the hole. You could ask for a wholesome chat. There's no promises we would follow through, though. Okay, so it only allows me to go so far this direction, and then it doesn't. Oh, I think I need to put them on different. Maybe. I don't know. Okay. Sorry. I'm trying to figure out what exactly how to do this. Oh, I think I see what I did. That's what I did. Okay, let's try that. No, get back on there. Oh, there we go. I figured out what I did wrong. Oh, that's horrible. I totally feel you. Um, when Boy Wonder was just a couple years old, he came into our bedroom while I was still sleeping and he grabbed my glasses and he snapped them in half. And the eyeglass place that we went to didn't do like same day glasses. So for like 3 days, I didn't have my glasses. And oh, it was like a migraine every day. Sure, I'll take lunch, crazy. – . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . have a snowman head I can put in somebody else's chat because my snowman already has it. We all want lunch, I know. See what you started? Yep, that works. Chicka chicka filet. Nikki, you can eat whatever you want for a lunch. You're an adult. I mean, none of us are adults, but age wise, we're all adults. And they done left us alone with adult money, and we're in charge of what we eat when. A Chick-fil-A literally just opened up like 5 minutes from our house in November. So it's made it real easy to just, yeah, I am totally I have the dirty mind of a 12-year-old boy with the ability to read adult smut. It's definitely it's definitely interesting in there. Oh no, my train came apart. Yeah, I mean they left me alone with adult money. I need a shirt that says, "In fairness, I was left unsupervised." It's scary that I am in charge of raising two other human beings. Like, y'all seriously should be worried. I raised other human beings. Right? Like, no. Like, I earn money playing with Legos. Look at me being an adult and shit. I I'm in a slowly decrepiting body, but it's just a 12-year-old boy up in here. Like there is you ever look around and you're like, "Oh my god, we need an adult for this situation." Shit. I'm the adult. This is bad. This is really bad. I should not like be in charge of anybody. Yep. Throw the noodle against the cabinet, Nikki. If it sticks, it's done. I have a hard time knowing if noodles are done. The Chick-fil-A, it's so delicious. Okay. Another comment. If you have large hands or normal size hands, this step could be a little interesting for you because you have to like get the Legos to fit in these kind of angled where the train goes. But I have itty bitty kid hands, so it's okay for me. But if you had big adult hands, it might not be that easy. As you can see, I still struggle with it. Poor Kevin. You have to come visit. solely for the reason that you can eat Chick-fil-A. So sometimes, well, it's not sometimes, but at the end of your stream, you look, and I like to look at like what countries my viewers came from, and it'll be like you had one viewer from Canada. I'm like, Kevin, there you are. I know we have to sneak Kevin Chick-fil-A to the border. Like, we're neither of us are gonna cross the border. We're just gonna hand this Chick-fil-A over. Okay, let's go to Stream Raiders. Um, we have 38 allies, which is crazy, and I don't know how many villains. Let's start the battle. Says we have 36 enemies and 38 allies. So I know this is just the first car too. I have 3 more cars to do. Even if they just handed it to you over the border, you would have to pay duty tax for it. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. So we've lost 6 people, I think. Yes. Right? I'm just handing it to you over the border. You shouldn't have to pay taxes on it. Okay, let's open the captain chest. Pick 3 random winners. We won. We only lost like 7 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 7. And they lost all of them. Crazy had the most kills with 19. And Carrot had the most assists with 11. I'm going to do random. Kevin's in Canada. This dude got bomber scrolls. Yada Tag got these scrolls, and Sodom got these. We get to collect all the goodies. Ooh, I got 25 keys. Now I have 30. Yeah, when I look at like my end of stream thing and it's like, you had 1 view from Canada, I'm like, oh, there's Kevin. It's Canada. Oh, he's. Oh, now my brain is going to say it weird. He's from Saskatchewan. He's from Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan, something like that. My brain's like, don't try. We're going to mess it up for you. Now that we know Steel can't pronounce it, we're going to pronounce it wrong on purpose. Yeah, Steel can't even say Canada. I say Canada on purpose, and it, like, I know it's Canada, but Canada sounds better. Okay. Just the assists. Back on the lift. That's no Gouda. Listen, we don't have money to fix anything. Okay, that's a level 5. Level 2. Okay, we'll buy these. And go back to a campaign. Push you down. Okay, woo, there's lots of people in here. Okay, everybody. Oh, I forgot to look at what I could buy with bones. Store or keys, whatever. I guess I'll save them up and see if I can get other stuff. There we go. Okay. Like I was doing something. What was it? Okay. Then shoot. Oh, I see. So we put the little Hogwarts Express there. Hogwarts Castle. I don't know if it's really even, but put that little thingy on there. We don't have money for a new truck. You can't walk out of there with a new truck. Okay. 3. Sticker number dos. He took my, so this morning he took his car in, or his truck in, for an oil change, and then he came back and got mine to take it for an oil change. So he's at the dealership getting his oil, or getting the oil tank, whatever, oil change. That's the word. But he doesn't have. He's not good at the dealership. He gets antsy. He starts looking at things, and then we leave with a new car. We can't afford a new car. We can't leave with one. 23. This one I'm gonna use the thingy for. Okay, Steel. Okay, let me. There we go. So then we have that on the front, little Hogwarts Express. That's all Carrot is shenanigans. I gotta put my little conductor. So we're done with the first piece of the train. You got a little conductor man back there. And we roll, as long as I do it right. Okay. Let me quickly put these pieces away so I don't add more to the pile I'm trying to get rid of. At least, some of it. Crazy caught the Pokemon. Kevin's lurking. Nikki found her glasses. Laundry bin. That makes complete sense because I bet you were taking off your shirt or something and your glasses got stuck and they just went with it. And I pretend I'm an adult all the time. Okay, before we start on the next segment of the train, here's that. Let me move the train a little bit more out of the way. So this is that set I bought, Nikki. By that other company that's cheaper. So it's F-Ho, it's fun a hole, despite what Carrot calls it. But it comes with the light kit with it. So this is 556 pieces, and it was like it was like $35. But on Amazon at the time, it was like 20% off. So I got like $7.50 off. So it with like tax and what, it was barely $30 for 556 pieces, and it comes with the light kit, like I said. And I'm pretty sure that the pieces that would normally have stickers on them, so you get your nice book. I mean, this is a nice book. It's not like cheap paper that's gonna like rip the second you touch it. And the instructions look pretty well. Like they tell you, much like Lego, how many you need, where it goes. Is it not? We still have like 22 minutes. There's time. We have 12 allies in the first 8 minutes. That's not bad. And it tells you like what bag this piece is from, which like the bag, but also the light kit bag if it's a light kit part. And I don't think there's stickers. I think that if there's something like the word newsstand or the flyer, that it's actually printed on the Lego. I'm trying to look for one. Oh, that's common to be printed. Oh, here's a piece. Now let me just see if I can get it to a opponent. Hello, Exposing Alex. Welcome in. Welcome in. Oh, there's another one. I can't get it to move it. Oh, there we go. There's one. It's printed there on the bag or on the block versus a sticker. So I'm excited with that because I flippin' hate stickers. I can never get them on straight. So after, listen, it's dirty. Like, I'm not doing anything wrong. It's my channel. I got this mini bag Quidditch set in my stocking for Christmas. For you, no, because you make it dirty. It's fun a hole, not fun whore or fun hoe or. How are you doing today, Exposing Alex? Fun hole. I know you like it. Thank you for the epic Rabbit of Moon. I bought one. So I heard about them in Grand Admiral Quack's stream. So I went to the website and I was looking around, and they are cheaper compared to Lego. And, a lot of people were saying good things about them. But I noticed that they have a like storefront on Amazon. You know how you can like search something up, like method laundry detergent. And then when you get to the item, you can click like look at the store. They have that kind of storefront on Amazon. So I ordered it through Amazon. And plus Amazon had lots of like almost every set was on sale in some way. Some were like 20% off, some were just $30 off, and so I just bought it from Amazon cuz I'll have Prime, so free shipping. and and then it had the sales. So I was like it's hard to beat a sale, you know? Like even if it's only a couple bucks off, I will take any amount off. You know, save money however. I need to get my second book out. We just finished the first the train engine for the big Hogwarts Express set. So we just finished the first one, and then I um was showing Nikki that other set because it's cheaper. Every time I see cheap Legos now, I'm like, ooh, Nikki. Because I know not every Lego is an expensive brand, and I know not everybody can afford. So if I find a cheaper set or a set on sale or even a different brand that I like, I will gladly share it. You know, we all got to save every little penny we can, so wherever I find it. And they're going to tell you it needs $7 million in repairs. I know. That we didn't even know because the truck seems to work just fine. You're welcome, Nikki. Listen, there's Target in their ad this week had some sorry, my brain whooped in the middle of that sentence. They had some sets that were like, I don't want to say on sale or if they were just highlighting those sets, because not everything in the weekly advertisement is a sale. Sometimes they're just highlighting a certain item. But they, in the ad, it said some of the Lego sets were $20. I figured that's what happened in the process of unpinning it deleted. I didn't think you were honestly deleting it. I was like, what comment did he delete? But now I realized, once I clicked on it to show me, I realized that's probably what happened. That in the unpinning process, it deleted. Okay, so this is like prostrate yourself before Nikki. Oh, I hate when it takes forever to get appointments like that. Hopefully, I'm not sure what's all going on that we're all asking exposing Alex, but hopefully your person feels better. And I know some appointments are horrible. Like even when they're like super necessary, sometimes it feels like it takes forever to get an appointment just because they're so booked. So this is the second car and the train track. That's good. So 8 through 10 are part of the train track. 11 through 15 is the rest of the train track. And then a Dementor, and it wants you to put train 1 on. And then 16, 17, 18, and 19 are the second car in the train. So in other words, this book is bags 8 through 19. But it also looks like there's not a ton of pieces in bags 8, 9, and 10. They're just big pieces, so only so many of them fit in the bag. I hope your person feels better and doesn't get the runaround at the doctor, because that sucks monkey balls. We're doing another Harry, our second Harry of the set already. But I've only found his legs and his hair. No more. Like, did I totally miss a bag? Because I feel like there should be more. My daughter is technically growth hormone deficient, and I remember going through all that, getting that all figured out. And then during COVID, she dislocated her elbow, and it was supposed to, it happens, like she's riding her scooter, she fell, she dislocated it. Took 2 years for them to realize that in the process of dislocating it, when the joint came apart, the muscle pulled a piece of the bone off. This just little itty bitty piece, and they're like, it'll reabsorb it. 2 years later, they realized it did not, and it had moved, reattached to the ligament here, and so every time that little piece moved, it stretched that ligament out, and her elbow just kept coming out of the joint over and over until finally it wouldn't stay in. They had to cast it to get it to stay in the joint. So I completely understand the mess that is getting medical help. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh. Why is it I start screaming, I'm cold, about halfway through I start sweating? Probably because the sun comes out. Where is the rest of you, Harry? Like I said, I feel for you. I completely understand the mess that is getting any kind of medical help. Hopefully you get answers relatively fast once you can get in to see the doctor. It's good though that you have an appointment, at least finally. We have been arguing with the children's hospital near us for the last couple months to get my son an appointment to see growth hormone endocrinologist, because he basically stopped growing, similar to his sister, but he's 13 instead of born. Yeah, she finally had surgery on it, and they went in and they took that piece of bone off, fixed it, sewed, had to put in a few stitches to shorten the ligament. But she said part of it is that her elbow is not right. Like, so your elbow works like a cup. The top bone sits in this bottom bone's cup. Well, the cup on her arm is not deep enough to actually hold the top bone in, and it's just like a genetic thing. Like it just didn't develop properly. And they said it happened, like, more people than you know are like that, but they never have a problem until it dislocates the first time. But because that other piece was there stretching out that ligament, it made it easier for it to pop out. So she still doesn't put her arm out straight because she says she can feel the bones move, like they're going to come out. So eventually they told her once she stops growing, and they're positive that she stops growing, they'll have to go in and surgically deepen that cup. Like they'll basically have to scrub some of the bone away so that it sits in like it's supposed to. And then when my youngest fell off the curb in October, November, they learned his kneecap is the same way. So your kneecap is cupped like this, like on a curve, and underneath you have like this little piece of bone sticking up, and that stops your kneecap from just sliding off. His underneath is completely smooth, so there's nothing stopping it from dislocating, essentially, except for the muscles around it holding it in place. So he went through all kinds of physical therapy to strengthen that muscle, the muscles around it, to help keep his kneecap in place because he hasn't stopped growing, and they really don't want to do surgery until he stops growing because otherwise they could mess, like make something too tight and then he can't grow because well, it has gone down and he's back to normal. But what they're saying is that he very well, like normally, like say you are running after your friend and you trip and fall, you hit your knee is sore because you landed on it, and you get up and you go about your business, maybe a little gingerly because now your knee hurts. His could just dislocate from that because there's nothing stopping when you hit from it sliding off, because that's what they wound up. Well, you know what I mean. Running in general, and you fall, or even not even running, you just fall and you hit your knee, right? Well, your kneecap, that little piece underneath, stops your kneecap from just sliding off to the side. I don't run either. Listen, if I run, somebody better be chasing me. Yeah. It's like I said, I completely understand getting any type of appointment with any kind of specialist. It is a nightmare. That's what so fantasy, when she was born, was full, you know, she was like 38 and a half weeks, or I was 38 and a half weeks. So she was technically full term, but she came out preemie sized. Um, she wore preemie clothes for like the first couple months. Um, and she had all kinds of issues right from the beginning, which we now know is because of other things. But I'm freaking out that I lost this bag, and it's no, they want 8, 9, and 10 all open at the same time. So here's me freaking out for no reason because I can't read. Um, yes, you guys are an ad, so I will wait to talk about it until you guys come back. Okay, let me see. What's in here? Oh, too much. Yeah, so it turns out it wants 8, 9, and 10 open. Here I am flipping out that I am missing pieces of Harry Potter, but instead it's because they want 3 different bags open. There's Harry's head. I still didn't find his body, though. Oh, there's his body. Okay. So I have another Harry. I was freaking out. Nope, I didn't read the instructions. They want 8, 9, and 10 open at the same time. Plus 8 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Um, it still says there's a minute on ads, so I'll just hold because maybe for some reason yours came back sooner than everybody else's. Closing Alex. Okay. I'll figure it out eventually. Turns out that's not the case. A tenner. That's more than 10. You're more than 10. You're not, though. They want me to also build 2 of these, so I will do my best to build them both at the same time. Okay, we're back. So, yes, my daughter was technically born full term. She was like 38 and a half weeks when I had my C-section. But she came out preemie size. Like, she weighed 6 pounds, 3 ounces when she was born, but her blood type and my blood type could cause issues, but I'm not Rh negative. Yeah, so she had to go on growth hormones. Essentially, your HCG level is your human growth hormone. And when you're until basically you're done growing, you produce it in pretty large quantities. Like it's something like whatever the measurement, micrograms, milligrams, whatever it is. A normal child produces between 13 and 15, right? When they take your blood and measure it. She did not. Sorry, I'm reading the things, trying to make sure I get the right amount of pieces. But when she was born, it seemed like she was fine, right? When she went for each checkup, she wasn't growing a ton. Like, normally, was it in the first 6 months, they basically double, it's 6 months or a year, I can't remember, it's been too long. They double their weight, right? So if your baby, I think it's 6 months, because if your baby is 6 pounds at birth, they want it to weigh 12 pounds by 6 months old, which seems like a lot, but it's not really. Either way, 6 months, a year, whatever it is, they want them to double that weight. She did not. When I was pregnant with her brother and she was almost 2 years old, she was still in an infant carrier. She weighed like 18 pounds at 2 years old. So and at a year old, they stopped. She wasn't on the growth chart anymore at a year old. They would bring out the little growth chart and they would just make a dot and write it in. They wouldn't, but they're like, but it's on her own curve, so it's fine. And that is true. As long as they're growing at their own curve, they generally don't worry about it. But we have a picture of when her brother was born, and like I said, she was almost 2, and his head is at her shoulder and his legs are past her kneecaps. Like, he was almost the same size as she was, and he was just born and she was almost 2. And she was still in like 12 to 18 month old clothing. Like, she just wasn't big. And so they were like, that's interesting. And then they went for her 2-year checkup and his 4-month-old checkup, and they were just a couple inches and a couple pounds apart. And that's when they were like, we're just going to do some blood work. Blood work doesn't hurt them. You just take an extra tube of blood and you send it off, right? You're already taking, giving them shots and stuff at their 2-year-old checkup. They're not going to notice. So it came back that her levels for things weren't where they should be. So then we had to wait and get in to see a doctor and like an endocrinologist, a pediatric endocrinologist. And it turned out that she was growth hormone deficient, which means she wasn't producing the HCG she needed to grow. So they did this big, like 4 hour long test. They put an IV in and they take blood, right? And they come back a half an hour later and they use that IV to take another tube of blood. And then at an hour, they come and they take blood again, and then they inject her with one kind of hormone. Then they come back 30 minutes later, take blood again. 30 minutes later, take blood again. 30 minutes later, take blood again. Then they bring out this machine with this syringe that, I kid you not, is like this big around. They put it on this other machine and they can't even put it in her, like, it has to be injected by a machine because the human body can't press that slow to put at the rate it needs to be administered. Like, it needs to go in so slowly, like so little at a time, that a machine has to do it. So they give her that, and then it came back that a normal child produces between 13 and 15 of that, whatever, however increments, measurement. With no drugs in her system, it was 0.1, 0.5. And then with drugs in her system, it was 10.1 at the highest, and that meant to our insurance company that she was short stature, not growth hormone deficient. So her pediatrician and her pediatric endocrinologist fought, and in the end, our insurance did not pay for her meds. The drug company covered her meds because you have to make more than $100,000 a year before they do not cover it fully because of how much the medicine costs. It cost $1,500 for one pen. It looks just like an insulin pen. You put the little pen tip on it and you turn the dial in the back to whatever dosage you want, and then you do it just like an insulin pen. And but it's growth hormones. Yeah. And at the end, she was going through a 15 milligram pen in 7 to 9 days, I think. It's either, like, it was crazy. It was like 3 pens a month. So $4,500 we would have had to been paying just for the pens. That's not the pen needles, that's not alcohol swabs, that's not visits, that's not x-rays, it's not anything. It's $4,500 a month just for the medicine. And they were covering it 100% because it's ridiculous. Yeah, I know, I saw it. Let's see. Okay. I clicked the right camera. We have 41 allies. 55 enemies, 41 allies. Here goes nothing. Leroy Jenkins. Ooh, we're doing pretty good. Woohoo! Crazy and Nikki caught the pokies, and Nikki got a nose. Our snowman already has a nose, though. 2 random. Carrot Cleric got 15 gold, and a lone 21 SB got 3 tank scrolls. Collect. Collect. I think I finished a quest. I did. I got 20 tank skulls. Oh, now it wants me to create battle plans. Oop, I did this one too. Kill 3 armored units. Okay, let's upgrade our Lancer. We could upgrade our tank too, but we don't have enough money. Beside Joe will have because of his, yeah, because of the national healthcare system. Yep, but it does, and that's the hard thing. It's great. The national healthcare system is great in the fact that you get the care you need, but at the same time, that waiting can be horrible. You know. So it's like a flip of the coin. Yeah, here in America we don't have the national healthcare system, and so they can charge literally an arm and a leg for everything. But the same flip side, we don't have to wait. Like, I mean, I shouldn't say we don't have to wait, but the wait is potentially less depending because there are more options. You know, more doctors you can go to. But yeah, so so now they're worried. My youngest has the same thing. He was tested a long time ago because he was growing kind of slow, and they didn't find anything. And but now he's 13, and the doc's like, I don't know, it's not great. And like they can see that he has a lot of space left to grow, like in his growth plates, but he's just not actually doing the growing. So, yeah, it's a double edged sword. The potential for wait time is less, but we have to pay an arm and a leg, whereas you don't have to pay, but you do have an extended wait time. So it's you know, okay. Had I known they were going to want me to open 3 bags at once when I started today, I would have. Okay, Steam, Steam, I don't know anymore. Good luck on your test. Don't freak yourself out or don't stress yourself out. Okay. As much as I don't want to do this, I'm going to have to do a carrot and craze have all the pieces out because I can't find anything, and I still can't find anything, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, it's a mess. Like healthcare in general is difficult. Whether you're having to wait or you're having to pay, it's always something. Okay, that step complete. But like I said, hopefully now that you have the appointment when you go, you're able to get answers relatively quickly. Yeah. But the same thing with the polio vaccine. He just gave it away. He didn't keep the patent to himself. He didn't charge anybody for the patent. But yeah, the price of insulin, the formula for insulin has not changed since it was invented, but it is now 300 times the price it was when it first came out. And they've had to do no research and development for it. It's just the price has gone up. Yeah, well, when we were in Virginia, one of our, I don't want to say friend because I'm not really friends with her, but one of the people in our group, her son was diabetic. And I feel bad for him because she was not helping him really understand what he could and could not eat. She would allow him to eat 8 slices of pizza as long as he took his insulin first, because pizza is a slow carb. Yeah, it doesn't slow or fast. Eventually, that sugar is going to be in his system. Like, and I get that they make sugar free soda, but she would let him drink sugar free Mountain Dew. Like, that was the deal with anything. You have to take your insulin first. She was never teaching him how to eat properly with diabetes. Like, as long as you take your insulin first, you'll be fine. But that's not how you, like, your numbers can still be bad like that. And the thing is that yes, right now he is on TRICARE, which is right, which is the military insurance. So right now he is not having to pay anything for the cost of insulin. But eventually he will age out, even if his dad is still active duty. There becomes a time when you're too old to be covered under the parents' insurance. So, yeah, he can choose to go to college and be covered till he's 21. And then I think if he were to go to like graduate school or something like that, he could be covered till he was 27. But at some point, he is going to lose that insurance and he's going to be used to using as much insulin as he wants. And now he doesn't know how to eat. So he's still using too much insulin to balance it. Like, the insulin isn't is there as a backup. You're meant to learn how to eat to keep it low to begin with. Like, unless you're the other type that doesn't produce insulin. You know what I mean? The real kicker for me with him having to wait so long is that I know adults who are being seen quicker and not being left in pain for a year. Children should be seen quicker. He's 6 with a developmental delay. He doesn't understand why he's in pain. Exactly. I mean, kids. And so I don't know how it is within your healthcare system, but we have people that just see kids. Like, adults don't see them because they're people uh, whose specialty is kids, is less. Like, you know what I mean? Like, adults and children aren't seen by the same specialty. So they're both ENTs, but this is a pediatric ENT and this is an adult ENT. You know what I mean? Like, they specialize in the smaller parts of a children's ear versus an adult ear. Most people don't know how to eat, but she's not helping him, is my point. Like, because she'd be like, well, his sugar's never high. But he went to his doctor and he got in trouble because his whatever was high, like some other number. And I'm like, well, yeah, because you're not teaching him how to eat right. Like, she was always on some kind of diet to lose weight. She was like, I'm eating keto because I want to look good at her friend's wedding. I'm like, okay, but your child who has diabetes should be eating keto all the time because he has diabetes. And they were trying to, her other son had something and they were trying to narrow down if it was a food allergy or not. And it was Thanksgiving time. And I was like, so he can't have gluten right now, right? And she's like, well, I talked to the doctor and we're just going to hold off on that because it's not fair that he can't eat what he wants to during the holidays. And I'm like, I didn't realize fair played a part in this. They're just what is. Like, he doesn't miraculously become not allergic to it because it's the holidays. and you want to put off finding out if that's the thing he's allergic to because it's the holidays, aren't you more worried that he's allergic to this item? Like, isn't that more important? That was like, you know what? Not my circus, not my monkeys. My monkeys have enough issues. I don't need to be taking on somebody else's monkeys. Yeah, because I guess I don't know if she interpreted what the doctor said incorrectly or what, but she was like, as long as it's 10 grams of carbs or less, he can eat it. You're right, he can, but you realize that's for a whole meal, not per item. Like, we have pediatric specialists, but they want him to be seen by an adult doctor. He was given an appointment with a pediatric team, and they canceled without telling us. Apparently, it was made by mistake. And oh, but that's weird. I don't completely understand that because he's 6, so he should be seen by a pediatric one. Do you think it's because of his developmental delay? Like they're choosing to have him seen by an adult? I don't understand, and I don't want to like make you upset or anything like that. But I don't understand half the things they do or why they do them. Going to the doctor is frustrating on many levels. Okay. Oh man, that sucks. You got all the way there. I'm not sure I could have been patient or nice in a situation like that. The frustration would have been high. If I can get this piece to click. Maybe this doesn't do it. Okay, let's not do it that way. Ah, I see what I did wrong. Nope, that's right. Okay. I understand what I did wrong. I went one forward and like one over instead of one under when I placed the brick. Okay. 11.
This whole game is rigged.
Are you trying? Oh no, I was gonna say, are you trying Kevin's method, which is yelling at the computer first? Right. Like I think they would understand his developmental delay and the fact that I mean the anatomy is just so much smaller. Like things are different because it's a smaller anatomy. Have you I don't know. It's such a weird, like I said, why they do things doesn't make sense. And I know they don't always offer up any kind of explanation. Ooh, Nikki gave me a great cherish ball. Did you throw a snowball at me? Oh, it was through a present. Woohoo! Those those result in a higher chance of a shiny. Okay, now that there's less giant pieces, I'm gonna try to put some of this back in this container. I got like 4 snowballs the entire time, and maybe less than that. And it seemed like the first week they were really giving out the prizes and stuff. But the second and third week, it seemed like there wasn't really much being given out in the way of the competition, even though it was supposed to last like 3 weeks. Of course, maybe I wasn't playing enough. You know what I mean? Like in enough different channels to notice, and that we really were, but I wasn't getting them because I wasn't playing in enough or watching enough channels that were taking part. I don't know, but it just didn't seem like the train length is supposed to be something like 46.5 inches. So yes, this is why I'm building them side by side. Well, it says that I'm supposed to build two. So this is one, this is two, kind of a deal. But yes, it's gonna be ginormous. I'm gonna have to go to IKEA and buy a super long shelf just to put it up on the wall. Welcome back, Kevin. I know I'm just gonna have to go to the hardware store and be like, I need like a 48-inch piece of wood. Be like, can I get like a shelf? Just buy a piece of wood and make my own shelf. Okay. So Carrot pinned Nikki's thing about finding her glasses. And then when he tried to unpin it, it deleted it. And Steele said Carrot should prostrate himself because he deleted Nikki's comment instead of, like, when he was trying to unpin it. And I was like, I don't know about prostrate yourself, but going to raise hell if they try to say go wait and see what happens, or if he's on X makes for a Y amount of time, he's just wait. Yeah, no, that's when the full out freak out is gonna come, and I did kind of have to do that with my daughter's arm. Like they kept saying, well, we'll do this, we'll do that. And I was like, listen, you've done literally every kind of x-ray. They did multiple x-rays, CTs, an MRI, all this kind of stuff. And, they're not getting any kind of answer. And so I was like, okay, I am not the first one to say, let's do surgery right away. I want you to do all the things you can before that has to happen. But that being said, you've done every kind of scan, x-ray, every way you can look inside her body without physically opening her up and looking inside her body. And you don't have an answer as to why this is happening. I'm gonna need you to schedule surgery. And they're like, well, it'll be considered exploratory. I was like, you can consider it whatever the fuck you want. You're gonna do surgery. Like, there's nothing else left to do. She can't keep, because the last time her arm dislocated before they did surgery, she was literally just stretching. She went to a sleepover. She was coming down to have breakfast with her friend. Like, they were both walking down the stairs, and she just went to stretch, and it popped out of the socket. So I was like, was she supposed to do this the rest of her life? Like, she can't even raise her arm up without it coming out of the socket? How do you think that's going to work? And so they're like, okay. And then when they went in, they're like, yes, we see. It was something you literally couldn't see on a scan. You could only see if you went inside. Yeah, and then she had then it came out of the socket again. About we had only moved to our new location about, now I'm putting it on wrong. We were there, I don't know, a couple weeks, really? Well, I guess a month, because we had to live in the hotel for a month for our house to be ready. But she picked up something light and she went to move it and it just came out of the socket, even after she had surgery. So, I was like, I'm done. This is, I understand the reasons why you didn't want to do surgery right away, but what do we do now? Like, she can't live like this the rest of her life. Like, just breathing wrong or barely moving and her arm coming out of the socket. But she's still under the, she doesn't, no gymnastics, no anything that would cause her arm. She wanted to play volleyball for a little bit, and I was like, that's not possible. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, when most people say they have a problem child, they mean their child doesn't behave. We have a medical problem child. She's had so much stuff that it's ridiculous. Oh, I put you both on wrong. And this is why I started at 11 instead of 11:30. This way, if I went over a bit, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Because I kept fluctuating between should I start at 11 or 11:30, and I finally just put 11. And I'm glad I did. Surgery is what they said was going to happen next. If they're not changing that, then I'm not. Right. Like, at some point, surgery is the only option left. Like, I understand the methods and the reasons, and I don't believe surgery should be your first answer, but at some point it is the only answer left, to find out any real answers. Okay. Eat sugar. Okay. Let me stick this next one down because I was getting it ready. I'll finish the other half of my square of my peppermint bark. We have about 5 minutes left on Stream Raiders. Yeah, with our daughter, we learned much later that because when I was pregnant with her, um, they do all those tests to see if the baby has Down syndrome, like the blood tests, and we wound up having to go for a level 2 ultrasound to check if she had Downs because all my levels that should have been high were low, and all my ones that should have been low were high, and they didn't know why. So I had to have. It is a symptom of like one of the indicators though for Down syndrome and stuff like that, dwarfism, all those kind of things. So I had to go have a level 2 ultrasound, and she didn't have any of those things. But that was 14, almost 15 years ago, and they have since learned that those are indicators for other things like they thought she had Tay Sachs, which is only happens in little girls. It is a strictly female problem. Um, they only have one X chromosome instead of two, so they're literally missing half their DNA. So they thought she had that. So they sent her. They took some blood and they sent her stuff out to be broken down to like a chromosomal level, and she didn't have that. But there's like 3 other things that she could have, where she's essentially missing parts of her DNA. So she is missing chromosomes, which is related to the growth hormone, like her lack of producing them. It's why it could be related to why she has learning issues because she's missing chromosomes, and but it's strictly a disease that affects little girls, or a chromosomal anomaly that only affects little girls. Passed from mother to daughter. Carrot caught the Pokemons. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. This is the last step for these bags, because they wanted 8, 9, and 10 all at the same time. I don't think I've done another set where it's been like that, where we're doing multiple bags at once. Yep. Everybody put your last person in. We're got like 45 seconds left on it. I just Sunday was the first stream where I had stream raiders in. So I'm still fairly new. Like even before that, I really only played it in my hub stream, which wasn't all that often because he hasn't streamed a ton in the last last 2 years. So, and I didn't really watch him before that. So I am still learning stream raiders myself. Okay, so now they want you to take these pieces, which I don't have enough room for, and clink them together. You get the idea. Click these two together. I, however, don't have enough space to do that right this minute. Okay, that's Stream Raiders Battle. Stream Raiders. We have 40 allies and 33 enemies. Nobody got all 6 in, but Red's Robin and Nikki got 5 in. Crazy has the most kills right now. Carrot has the most assists. Only one more to kill. Woohoo! Go us. Go us. Crazy had the most kills at 13, and Carrot had the most assists at 8. Let's see. 2 rewards. Rabbit of the Moon got Musketeer scrolls, and Crazy got Paladin scrolls. I had to have Joe tested for, let me move this, cystic fibrosis when he was born. I'm a carrier for it, and my sister passed from it. They didn't want to test him, but I was having precisely. Yeah, sometimes you are your child's best advocate. Like, people will not want to do things, or on the flip side, they will want to do unnecessary things. And it's just, it's hard either way. Let's upgrade the barbarian. Upgrade the tank. Ooh, I got to upgrade him twice. Unlock artillery. Yes, thank you, cannon. Cannons! I don't have any money to buy anything, but let's look at keys. I think I want to save up for one of these bigger chests. But I'm not sure. At the same time, I'm like, but I got these chests. And what is it? Bones is the other one I have. What's crazy is they only allow this window to be so big, and I'm a little blind. And when you make it full screen, it just kind of blurs, so you still can't really tell what it's saying. Okay, that'll be our last battle for today. And we finished the bag. So, like I said, they want you to take these 2 very large pieces and clink them together to make one very long track. But I currently don't have room right here. I'm going to need to clear a little bit more space off my desk or put it over on my other desk to, make that work. But after clicking it together, the next step is the next bag. Okay. Hi, Fluffy Brick Studio. How are you? Was it you on Tuesday in RC Spaceport talking about fun hole sets? I wanted to say it was you earlier, but then I was like, maybe it wasn't Fluffy. I got my set in the mail. If you want to see it, I ordered mine through Amazon because it's Amazon and I get free shipping. Oh, you know what helps if I just type what I'm trying to type instead of. There we go. I'll get with it one way or another. Where's my little. There's my pen. Oh, there we go. Let me write down Fluffy's name so I remember to add it to my auto shout out thing. Fluffy. Yeah, there were a lot more discounts on Amazon, like either coupons or percentages off. So that's another reason. And I mean, I don't pay shipping because I'm Amazon Prime. So, but this is the one I got. I got just the newsstand because I figured I'll try a small set. And I think it was just under $30 because I want to say it was 20% off. It was $35, so it was like $7 off. And then with tax, it was just under $30 on Amazon. And if you guys want, I'll add the link for it into chat. It's my Amazon link, my affiliate link, whatever. So if you order, I would get money, but that's not what I'm trying for. It's just the way I always do it. But this is the one I got, and I opened it. Have you built sets from them before? Because I mean, I opened it up and it looked really nice, like comparable to Lego, and it doesn't have stickers, so it's already in the plus category for me because I feel like I never get stickers right, like centered or So it's got no stickers, so that's automatically higher up in my esteem. I looked at the farm truck and I almost got the farm truck instead of this, but I figured as far as because I've never used any kind of lightem system in the brick building either, so I figured this would probably be easier to do lights as a first time light, I figured this would be easier. But I probably won't build this till like towards the end of the month because I'm building this giant Hogwarts train and I just finished bag 10 out of 45. So it's gonna be at least, February by the time I'm done. Right. So I didn't realize that they had light kits. And then I saw other people lighting them in ads, and I was like, ooh, that's so cool. But sometimes, it's like another pricey thing on top of a pricey thing. And I liked that this came with the light kit, like it was part of the original price. So I figured I would give this a try. But if I do like these, then hello, I have a new obsession. Just still kind of like Lego, just different brand. But I am interested to give it a shot. They look nice. They look very similar to Lego and everything. So I'm excited. Let me see who is on to raid into. The Yellow Witch is on. Let me see how long she's been on, though. Oh, only like 15 minutes. Perfect. Okay, peoples. I have to eat before I have to go sit in pickup line for turdlets and to arm a child. She has archery practice after school, so I have to arm her. Yes, I try to raid into people who have less people currently watching them. I know it's here or there. You raid into whoever you want to, but I know that I don't always have a ton of people watching me. Not that I'm not appreciative for everybody who does watch me, but because that's You know what I mean? So then I try to pay it forward to somebody else who maybe doesn't have a ton of people watching them. I do raid sometimes into like local brick studio or 9.5 or other people who have a lot of people watching them, but I tend to try to raid into people who have less people watching them. Make sure I typed that right. I'm not going to press it yet, but I do want to make sure I typed it right. I did. So yes, I will be back on Sunday streaming Hogwarts Legacy. Um, from like 12 to 5, and then Tuesday and Thursday next week. We've been battling his endocrinologist. So I called Children's and I have the referral number, but they're like, we haven't received his notes from his doctor. So we can't schedule it till we have his notes. So then I call so then I went into the referral office and watched them fax it to them, and then I call, we haven't gotten any notes. So tomorrow my plan is to call Children's again and ask to schedule an appointment, and if they tell me they don't, then I'm going into the referral office and I'm going to call them and be like, you talk to them, because I've been fighting to get an appointment for him for like 2 months, and I know that it's going to take 4 or 5 or 6 months to even get in, because peds endocrinology is crazy, because that's who kids with diabetes see. So it's anything that has to do with weight and hormones, you all see an endocrinologist. But no, she's not gonna dab. No dabbing. Um, but so that's my plan tomorrow, is to be done arguing with them. You know. But yes, I will be back Sunday, and hopefully you get answers exposing Alex. Now that you have the appointment, hopefully when you go, you don't have to go full Papa Bear or Mama Bear on them to get them to do what they need to do to figure it out. I will be back Sunday. I'm gonna go to my stream ending screen and type. Make sure I. But yeah, I'll be back Sunday, and then next week and forever until I'm done with this set. We have done 10 out of 35 bags. No, it's 45. I said 45. Whatever. I've done 10 out of 45 bags. I'm thinking I have 35 bags left. Listen, don't start with me. I'm arguing with Crazy. You can't see me and you can't see him, but we're arguing. Anyway, I have 35 bags left to do. But so 10 bags a week. That's at least 3.5 more weeks of it. But I will be back Sunday with more Stream Raiders and more Hogwarts Legacy. Hopefully, you guys. Hopefully, you guys have a good week and have some fun Saturday. Maybe out and about. They can't decide if we're gonna have snow or rain on Saturday, but either way, it's gonna be a lot. Oh, they changed it. Sorry. Now it's Friday. They don't know. Have a great weekend, everybody.